That's me and my grandma. I'd love to say these are my first memories when I was happy as a baby, but unfortunately no. The first real memory I have was when I was 5. My mom got married to my stepdad, Bill Jordan, and I inherited a brother who was only 6 months older than me, William. But we were happy as kids. We did everything together, and our family was really focused on being a family. When I was 7, my mom gave birth to my little sister, and our duo became a threesome. We loved to take family pictures. My little sister was annoying, but I loved her very much. Here we are at my aunt's wedding. Family was always a really big thing. Here's my cousins. As a child, I was a little awkward, but I managed. My mom finally gave birth to her 4th, and that was James. So we had a his, a hers, and an ours growing up, but everybody's last name was Jordan but mine. I always felt a little outcasted, but I always had friends. I had 2 best friends as I was growing up, and it was okay. I got to do a lot of fun things as a teenager. I was a Japanese exchange student. One of them even came to visit me. When I was 19, I met my first boyfriend, and at 21, I gave birth to my daughter, Jasmine. She's my only daughter and my firstborn. She's been through a lot with me. Her dad was an avid pot smoker, and thus became my adventure on smoking weed. He still does to this day. Jasmine gets bigger and bigger every day. When I was 23, I met another man named Jason, and we quickly got married. I was 6 months pregnant when we did, and by the end of the 6 months, I gave birth to my second son, or my first son, Junior. He was a very troublesome little boy, but always happy. He managed to get into everything all the time. But him and his sister were like 2 peas in a pod. Although they fought, they were always happy. Sadly, after a few years, our marriage dissolved and I was alone. I had a best friend though, and we became very close, doing everything together. Problem was, Christy had quite a drinking problem, and we engaged in probably a good 6 months to a year of nightly drinking, clubbing, doing anything that involved alcohol. After a while, though, it became old, and I didn't like being drunk all the time, and our friendship ended. Then I met Jordan. Jordan adored me. Looking back on it, I can definitely say he was the love of my life. There was a problem, though. Although my kids adored him, Jordan was a user. I know now what that means, but then I didn't. Meth. We went through many trials and tribulations back and forth. Good times, bad times. Every time things would go bad, he would always blame it on the meth. Everything was always the drug's fault. And finally, in Christmas of 2007, we separated. And I began a new journey onto beauty school. It was definitely the highlight in my life. I excelled in it. I loved my teachers. I loved my friends. And I loved to color my hair. I think it was every color of the rainbow and every style that I could think of. At one point in time, I even had cornrows. Being the minority was hard, but it gave me a real cultural experience, and I got to do a lot of things other girls don't. In 2009, I graduated with honors at the top of my class and was overjoyed to land a job in Lincoln City at the coast. A lot of my friends from beauty school are still my friends today. I liked working at Perfect Look, but it wasn't that satisfying. And Jordan once again came back into the picture a year later. He needed help getting clean, and so I agreed. And he did. And we were happy. He got a job. We celebrated birthdays, holidays, and he stayed clean. He became the MMA coach, and I soon became pregnant. In the midst of it all, I decided that I wanted to buy my own salon, so I opened my own salon, with his encouragement, of course, and we called it Zebra Salon, located in Lincoln City. Soon after, Jaden Joseph Tibbetts was born. 3 months after that, we got married. Finally, after a long struggle and battle with addiction. I guess in my own mind I felt like a helping one. And he was a really good dad. We were all really happy. Unfortunately, about 3 months after the addiction, or after our marriage, Jordan started using again. And on the last fight he won, decided to use steroids as well. I decided to join him that time, and we both began to use. We became very lost in our addiction, but maintained that we were happy and that everything was fine. Sadly, our addiction began to show. I became looking skinnier, Jordan began looking paler, and his aggression was out of control with the use of steroids as well. In 2010, his temper got out of control, and he beat me so bad that I didn't even know what to do or how to cope. So I became lost in my addiction. I left him and began to use IV drugs. At one point in time, I even got as skinny as my 11-year-old daughter. And then I met Mark. And although Mark was a user too, he did his best to try and keep my addiction under control. Sadly though, he just couldn't keep it together either, and wound up in jail. Which on November 11th, 2014, is where I ended up too, after committing many crimes. When I was in jail, I hit my rock bottom and decided that I needed to change my life. I got accepted into a program called Hope Court, which is intensive outpatient treatment through Reconnections. Through Reconnections, I have made many friends, many inspirations. They helped me get my hair license back so that I can continue my career. I became an active member in Narcotics Anonymous, doing many service work. It's allowed me to mend relationships with my dad and with my mom. Without these programs, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Without the programs, I wouldn't be able to have such new good friends. And definitely, I wouldn't be able to have my kids and the love and respect. I'm grateful for all of the friends that I've made in this program. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. And as I'm coming close to a year, and I look at my family and my friends, it's hard to imagine, as my past gets further and further behind me, that any of it was even real. So many inspirations, so many moments where I just feel so blessed that I am where I am now and not where I was.